how's it going, guys? We're finally gonna get some video picking corn. Running my R65, and I have a Challenger 12-row corn head that's been adapted, not by me, by a previous owner or when it was sold new, to go on a Gleaner, because Gleaners have offset feeder houses and whatnot, so the auger has to be offset, different shafts, stuff like that. We are picking today northwest of Alameda, Kansas on a 40-acre field with no terraces, which for me is a rarity because most everything of ours is terraced. And because it is terraced, I am usually busy running header height up down because my header height sensors on this corn head aren't working yet. But I also have all the ag leader auto sear stuff in this combine, so but I don't have row feelers for that. But it's a nice flat enough field I can actually just set an A/B line here and go back and forth on some half-mile long roads for a while. But the corn we are picking today, and I'm not sure what's going on here, why I have a dead strip here and good corn there. But I think it might have something to do with the fact that we harvested, or we baled some corn stalks off this field like 4 or 5 years ago when we were in a drought. It needed feed for cattle, to be honest. And that is why I think there's a dead strip there. But it doesn't show up over there, so I don't know. But really overall, I think half the planter here I had in the DeKalb corn and the other half in a Vermont 113 day. I think the DeKalb corn was 114 day. But in most of our hybrids we grow in corn are 105 to 115 day corn. It just depends how late we get going planting or if we get rained out. We like to do 115 day corn because we never lack for sunlight and heat in this part of Kansas. But I think this field was planted, I can look, planted May 15th at 16,000 population. Generally around here on really dry years or years we're going into with no subsoil moisture, we will plant corn at 12,000 seeds an acre. And if you know, we're getting into a wetter season or we think some subsoil moisture to work with, we will do 18,000, and I've done up to 20,000 some bottoms and stuff like that just as tests. When we get up to do irrigated, we'll do 25,000 to 30,000, but you know, this isn't irrigated, so yeah, not doing that, I guess. But yeah, pretty good corn. I think once we get away from this junk here, it'll be 100-ish bushel corn. You know, we really in this area only strive to grow 80 bushel corn on average with our rainfall. You know, this is not 200 bushel dryland corn country. But since I am now full and waiting on that truck over there's got enough on it to go to town, so I'm waiting on Dad to get back here with the other truck. We can stop and talk about my header here. Yeah, it's a 09 Challenger 12-row 30-inch corn head. I was running a 10-row 30-inch John Deere-ish corn head until this year, and we found this head on auction time. We got a pretty good deal on it. It's pretty dang stock. I don't believe there's any mods or anything like that to it. It's the typical hugger corn head with, you know, the raised deck plates and just your normal stock rolls. Had a little damage there and a crack, and I just put a piece of tin over it, and it's not hurting anything. Those hoods or shields there aren't cheap. It had a couple gathering chain sprockets out, no big deal. But other than that, besides just greasing the units and putting oil in the chain drives on the end, really haven't had to do a lot to it. I do have row sensors on it, but I haven't been able to make them work yet. And maybe later in the season I'll have time to deal with that. But really,
with, you know, if we were growing 200 bushel corn, I would not want to run bigger than an 8-row head on this combine. But for what we're doing, you know, unless I get up into 125, 150 bushel corn, I don't really struggle to sit there and run 5 mile an hour all day with this. I'm generally limited not on shoe capacity or cleaning capacity on combines in this area. I can pretty much run pretty fast in dryland corn around here. It's just how fast I can stand to go up and over terraces is generally my limiting factor. We don't ever run a capacity cleaning wise on combines unless things get to being good yielding. And you know, I have been running this combine. I have seen upwards of 2,500 bushel an hour and doing fine. And really, if I go much faster than that, I do what I'm doing now, waiting on trucks. So, but pretty good. R65 handles the head great. I'm glad I have duals for extra support. And I already have the longer auger on the combine to run, you know, the bigger heads, which is good. But yeah, we can walk out here and look at this stuff. As you can see, pretty far spaced apart plants. This is at 16 or 18,000. I think it's 16,000 here, behind a bean crop. But pretty clean. A few little pigweeds and stuff in here, but did a pretty good job keeping it clean all summer. But yeah, that's a pretty good, like, pretty good old ear there. Not the prettiest thing in the world, but it filled pretty good for what we had. We had pretty good August and September, early September as far as moisture goes. So as long as early season we set a good amount of kernels on the plant in length and girth, you know, everything filled really good around here. So pretty happy with this field, and I think it'll probably yield close to 100, I would guess. It's that dead area there. It's really going to drag our yield down, unfortunately. But really pretty good corn out here, and really a pretty good year in general. We've had a couple lower fields I've been in so far behind beans, but our corn on corn acres have shown to be better. And then, I don't know, we had a few more rains the further north we went this year, and we're kind of spread. Dad and I's acres are spread over an area about 8 by 5 miles, so you see some variability there, but I don't know. And then you go further east to my mom's fields. That area actually didn't have as much rain this year, but that's a pretty good year for this area at 16,000 population. We're not aiming to grow 200 bushel corn. Now, if we were to fallow or sit out a year behind like a wheat crop, which we don't really do anymore, we would have better corn yields that you can see upwards of 150. But where we shoot to grow a crop a year with wheat, milo, and corn in our rotation, just kind of don't see outstanding yields. And you know, hugger corn heads, you know, they're not the greatest corn head in the world, but for the money, we were pretty tickled with it. My Gleaner does a really good job cleaning, so that's really nice. Our moisture, unfortunately, has gotten fairly low this year. We're already at like 12-13% moisture. So we're having some butt shelling issues just because it's, well, dry. And really there's no great way around that necessarily. So we're probably losing a bushel or two an acre in butt shelling. And you can just see the little kernels down there in the row. But once you get off the row, you know, there's a few here, but you just can't do anything about butt shelling really in this world. It's pretty normal, but the combine really doesn't lose much out the back at all. You might find a kernel here or there that's off the combine, but She does a pretty good job cleaning. Most of your combine loss would be on this side on a Gleaner, and there's very, very minimal on the ground coming out behind this combine. So we got her set pretty good here. Not perfect, but so I just got to cover acres too. And really, I'm not running the cleanest sample. Having troubles getting cobs out of the tank. I do have a long round tooth chaffer in my combine for corn. I have an all-purpose chaffer I'll put back in when I get back to milo. But I figured out pretty quick since this is the first year actually harvesting good corn with this combine that I can overload my shoe pretty fast if I'm in good corn. So I went and found neighbor had a used corn chaffer, so bought that, put it in, and have really been pretty successful with getting a clean sample and being able to run over 2,000 bushel an hour. Otherwise I was having to go pretty slow. But yeah, I've had a little crap corn. It happens. But yeah, that's my sample. There's some cob in there, a little bit of stem. The fuller I keep this thing, the better of a job it does cleaning. But you know, like with a bad bunch of bad 6 rows of corn there, for some reason it's hard to keep full and inconsistent fields, especially generally when we're going up and over terraces. Our yields are very, very variable throughout the field. This field, we can sit there and probably hammer at 6 miles an hour, but I can also outrun Dad by a lot. And I do need to get the grain cart out here, but we've been busy and we've been doing lots of small fields. So heck, when you're doing small fields that are 30 acres and less, and it's only like 2 or 3 semi-loads a field, you barely get started going in a field and you're already moving within 2-3 hours, so you don't even hardly get to a cart, because it takes me a little while to get all the end rows off. So until I get into big fields, don't really need a cart. And we will be, after we finish this, we will get to our big fields of corn finally. I have a quarter section to do, Dad has another quarter section, a little over a quarter section to do, and then we have a half section of corn after this, and then we're dang near done with corn. And we still have irrigated corn of my mother's to move down and do, which we would probably like to do later this week, because we're talking about switching to milo, which we will get video of milo when we get there. But when we switch to milo, I have a different chaffer rod to put in this thing. We were planning on running the milo with milo fingers, or the draper with milo fingers in it to harvest milo. But the guy that had the chaffer for this, the corn chaffer for this combine, he also was selling a 27-foot model 700 Gleaner head that was set up for a lateral tilt combine and had single point on it already. And that's just a rigid 27-foot head. And if you know, like milo's 100 bushel an acre plus crop. So when you're taking that much crop, and it's a lot of extra, it's not like corn, you're taking a lot of extra plant matter along too. You don't really need a full 30-foot head or 30-foot draper. So we bought this 27-foot rigid head. We're gonna put milo fingers in it and run it, because it's pretty cheap to run an old auger, rigid auger head. You don't really need a draper for milo. That's just kind of all there is to it. Would like to, but really have no reason to. So that's kind of the plan when we get there, and we'll talk about that more when we get there. But yeah, we're gonna hop back out here and harvest here in a second. I think Dad's coming over the hill there in a second, and we'll get back to harvesting and maybe talk a little more. I don't know. And now we unload. We put about 3.5 bin loads on each truck, about 1,000 bushel. Combine holds 300. I've taken 550 off this field so far. This is actually 2 patches. There's this field and the one we were just in with the waterway kind of in between them. So yeah, they're all under the same unit. So we
dump all the trucks together and I keep track of bushels. And the ag leader screen, we harvested this field here and it did really well. I think it made somewhere around 110, 113 bushels to the acre, and that's pretty outstanding for us in the last few years, because like last year a lot of stuff got hailed and we averaged about 50 bushel an acre, and then the year before that we didn't harvest a lot of acres because it didn't rain. A lot of the fields made 20 or less, and a lot of fields we just didn't harvest at all. Got some traffic coming through. Neighbor must be hauling somewhere east of us, but that kind of looks like an old Great Plains manufacturing semi. But there's a lot of us out running pretty hard right now, picking corn. So some guys doing milo. I think all the beans are pretty much wrapped up in this area. We weren't the last people done with beans, but there was about 3 or 4 of us still to go when I got done with beans about 10, 11 days ago now. If the audio isn't that great, not much I can do about it. The old Gleaner, not quite as soundproof as some of its competitors out there in the cab department. I had an R72 Gleaner for a little while, and it was actually quieter in the cab of that than it is in this. And I'm not really sure why, and because we're putting a lot of crop through currently, it's louder that way too. But we got corn, I don't know if you can see it coming in there somewhere, but we're moving right along here. So I don't know. Like, I don't know what happened here, but you know, this field has no terraces in it, unlike a lot of our other fields, so it doesn't hold any moisture, which is why we are terraced. So I'm wondering if it just, like, this field maybe needs deep ripped in its entirety to get better infiltration, maybe. But I don't know. So we're gonna have to think about that one a little bit. This would be a pretty easy field to deep rip since it's just a pretty damn flat field. But stuff like that brings your yield down in a hurry. Zeros do a lot more to hurt your yield than you know, 200, I would say. So things to evaluate, and that's why it's nice that we're getting all this stuff yield mapped nowadays. I don't know, it's tough. Farming in Western Kansas isn't anything beautiful by any means some years. You just hope for average a lot of times. And we kind of always plan for a drought. But like right there, good corn, real good corn right there. But there, it's nothing. So, I don't know, it's interesting. Like, the last field, it was real pretty nice and uniform for what it was. It made 110. But you know, the last bean crop last year we took off of this field itself here, I think made 20 to 25. But the one right across the waterway from it went like 45. So I don't know. It's just hard to tell. And like now we're in a pretty good spot here for a minute. A little bit of bad rows over there, but you know, there's at least cobs on plants here. And that sure helps. And yeah, so we're taking like generally 1,800 plus bushel an hour. The yield's creeping up there to 75-ish bushel an acre, which is nice. I really wish it said 100, but I mean it doesn't, and that's just how it is. It's hard to want to put a lot of inputs into stuff like this as dry as we've been the last 3 or 4 years. You know, if we started a year with a better moisture reserve, you can go a lot further on a lot of this acres. But for now, we're just gonna keep picking corn here and keep right on and rolling, go back and forth on this patch. And see, like there, we're creeping up 92, 93. Pretty good, and I actually calibrated that this morning, so that is an actual calibrated yield for this variety of corn. So I don't know, I'm just gonna kind of got to roll with it. And I told somebody today, anytime in Northwest Kansas that your yield is in triple digits for corn, you're doing pretty good. It's kind of the same goes for Milo, really. But yeah, this is how she is. 102 bushel an acre, and you can see my loss monitor creep up a little there. So means we're putting some stuff in the machine, 2,200, 2,300 bushel an hour now. So things are moving. We're doing good. So we're gonna keep running here. Not much going on here. Yeah. But yesterday we brought home, or I'm not sure what day it'll be for you guys, but yesterday I brought home that Case 800 LP and that Triflex Sweep and John Deere 110. The Case 800 will be for sale, and the John Deere 110, which I haven't got running yet, because I mean, I got home yesterday, came and fixed this combine, and then, yeah, went right to picking. Did like 20 acres last night. But the Triflex Sweep I'm planning on keeping for myself to play with behind like my 806s, or that Case 930 that still would come in. But I'd like to, once I get that Case 800 off the trailer, make a video of it, just, you know, how to, better in-depth video of what it is, better walk around, kind of explain the Case-O-Matic transmission, which is fairly interesting if you've never been around one, just the way they work. You can just shove it in any gear you want and go right down the road. But hopefully I can get with Mr. Unhinged Rancher fairly soon and get back out there, you know, if I get a rain day or on a Sunday or something like that, go grab and get that 930 started up and bring it home, and then get the motor off that 403 combine too. That's kind of the plan. But got to a better part of the field here for a minute, 109, 110 bushel an acre. That we can deal with. We got some pigweeds out there that came on late this year. Don't know what to do about that, but maybe another chemical to pass later in the season where we need it next year on corn. Kind of one of those things you hate to spend more money on a crop that's not making any money at $4 corn. I mean, we make a little money on this stuff because I don't have any large payments. I mean, I owe land payments on some stuff I bought with a first-time farmer's loan, and then I have land payment, or have payments on this combine and my house mortgage. So I'm not that in debt. I don't owe any money on you know, other machinery besides this combine, to be honest. Not really your typical farmer that's millions of dollars in debt. Just not. I mean, land values around here are a little different than further east too, so that makes it a little bit easier to buy ground when you can. And cash rent in this area is cheaper too. I mean, as you'd expect, because our yields are, you know, half or less than an I-state a lot of times. So cash rent and land values kind of follow a similar trend, but we're, you know, back in some crappy parts of this field. I don't know, it's interesting. It's like some of it's like there's almost was some residue out here that, you know, got some snow drifted into it and held some water. I don't know. Soybeans I don't like to grow because you don't leave any residue behind, so there's no snow drifted in the soybean stubble unless the snow falls straight down, which is rare. So we don't get to hold any of that moisture in. But like milo stubble and corn and wheat, because you leave stubble that's 2 to 3 foot tall occasionally, you know, that can drift full with snow and gain us a lot of moisture, and that's why we're working milo back into our rotation, because it holds snow better, and we can, you know, maybe get a better corn crop behind milo. And like that field over there that's nice and bright red is 117 acres of milo that I have left to do. So hopefully we get into that here in the next week and start harvesting milo. And I will bring you guys along when we harvest milo, because I really do want to show that milo is, you know, it's an itchy crop. I don't itch that bad in milo, actually. Don't really know why, but it's a different crop to harvest. It's actually pretty hard to thresh. just because you're taking in a lot of plant matter with it. You know, it's a 3-4 mile an hour harvested crop when it's good. But yeah, we're about to the end here, so it's time to turn around. But now I think I had my wife out here earlier. She got some video of us picking that other field that made like 110, 113 bushel over there. And it's pretty terraces, so there's a nice video of me rolling up and over terraces, picking corn with the 12-row head, having to work to run a header in that stuff. But there's going to be some really good video of that stuff, so please, you know, tell my wife thanks for getting that video. And yeah, it's good stuff. It's nice to pick good corn after the last few years, because I've harvested a lot of bad corn the last few years. My auto steer keeps kicking in and out today. Not sure what that's about, but kind of whatever. I can drive a combine in corn and follow roads. It's not that big a deal. Thanks for tuning in. Obviously, we're gonna have some more tractors and stuff to bring in. Dad bought one today, 706 Farmall high crop diesel. Actually, never owned a high crop tractor before, so that'll be kind of cool to get in here. But I think that's it for this one today. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'm on all the social medias as @TMontyIH. Go back and watch some of my older videos. If you're looking for farm toys for sale for Christmas presents or something like that, I know Christmas is coming. I hate to bring it up, but it is coming. So, if you see something on there you want, go right ahead and buy it. We'll have more farm toys coming in as auctions like that get going this winter. But with that one, guys, thanks for tuning in. You guys have a good one. Go drag something out of the weeds and get it running.